Hello everyone, welcome to the class. I really hope that I am audible and visible. Also, please let me know if you are facing any difficulty. Okay, let me also check if I'm live. Yes. Okay, so I am very much live, guys. A very good morning to everyone out there. And I'm really sorry that we could not have a class yesterday. As you can see, there was some problem with my OBS, which I was not able to set up. So, hence, I was not able to take your class. But today, I think everything is fine. So, today, we will be continuing with our class. So, a very good evening, sorry, a very good morning, and a very warm welcome to the class. I hope that everyone has had a very good weekend and everyone is doing really, really, really well. So, before we start the class, again, as I always tell you, do join us on Telegram. There's a scan code here, or there's a link given. You can use the link or the scan code to join our Telegram group. Why is this necessary? Because this is where you will get updates regarding the classes, and at the same time, this is where you will be able to find your notes. You will also get to talk to teachers. You can clear your doubts, and all of these things will happen on our Telegram channel. And as you all know, that Result Guru, our uh, sister channel, our parent channel, has been hacked. So we have come up with a new channel. So yes, जज्बा नया चैनल नया है बट जोश वही है. We are back with a bang, so we would request all of you to subscribe to our parent channel, because that's where we started from. So do subscribe to the channel, do subscribe to that channel, and do subscribe to this channel as well. Do subscribe to Telugu Exams as well. And do like this video, share this video with your friends. Drop in a comment if you would like to suggest something, any changes that you guys would want me to make. And at the same time, if there's anything you don't understand, also you can let me know. And also, please press the bell button, because that's where you will get notifications about the classes. So, chaliye, without any further ado, let's start with the class. So, today we will be talking about. Sorry. Okay. So, today we will be talking about the Vedic civilization. Now, what do you mean by that, and what are we talking about here? So, let me just draw a brief timeline for you so that you have a clear understanding of what we are doing. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry about that. So, let's just take, this timeline for an example. So, we have started with civilization, right? And you will see the decline of Indus Valley civilization somewhere around 1400s or 1300s. You will see the decline of the civilization, and then you will see the coming in of the Aryans. Now, this theory is a bit refuted also. We will be talking about that in detail. And you will see the beginning of what is known as our Vedic civilization. Now, this Vedic civilization has also been divided into two parts. So we have an early Vedic civilization, and then we have the later Vedic civilization. The early Vedic civilization has been known as the golden age for Indian history, and later Vedic civilization things had changed a little bit. So we will be knowing about the time periods and everything. But first of all, let us understand how this transition from civilization, from Indus Valley civilization to Vedic civilization had happened. Today I'll just be introducing the topics to you. Okay, today I'll just be introducing the topics to you, and from tomorrow onwards, or maybe today also, we might have a class. So today at itself, I will be introducing you to the various aspects of the civilization. Okay, so I think we should all start. Just give me 1 second. You that Harappan cities had declined by 1500 BCE. And consequently, because of that, obviously the economic system, the administrative system that they had set up had also come to the decline. Now, around this period, the Aryans entered. Now, Aryans are a race, a tribe, a group of people. Now, they are supposed to have come from northwest, all right, probably from the Indo-Iranian region. All of this you have to remember, guys. These are important points. The word Arya means noble. What does the word Arya means? The word Arya means noble, all right. So Aryans migrated to India in several waves through passes in the northwestern mountain. Now, the northwestern mountain has a huge number of passes. We all know that the Mughals came from the Mughals came crossing the Hindu Kush mountain. There's the Khyber Pass. So, the Aryans also migrated from the northwestern mountains by using several passes that is there in the mountains. Now, before I move further, I also want to point out that this Aryan theory has quite been in refute. What do you mean by that? So nowadays, historians have stopped believing in the Aryan theory. Now, there are certain reasons for why they don't believe in the Aryan theory. First of all, you don't have any conclusive proof of it. You don't have any conclusive proof of it. You don't have any conclusive archaeological proof or literary proof or any kind of proof for it. Like, if we are talking about an invasion, if we are talking about coming of outsiders, we have had evidences for them, right? We have had evidences of the Mughals attacking us, Babur attacking us. We have had evidences of Ghori and Ghazni attacking us. We have had evidences of the Britishers attacking us. So why is it, the question that arises here is, that why is it that we don't have any evidence of the Aryans coming to our country? Okay, that is one of the major reasons why our historians have started not believing in this theory. It is also believed that this was a theory which was actually created by the Britishers. Okay, this was a theory which was actually created by the Britishers. Why? Because obviously they did not want us to believe that we could have self-governance on our own, or that we could establish as beautiful a civilization as Indus Valley and the Vedic civilization. The things which were ours, which were actually ours created, the Britishers always wanted to take that away. They always wanted to make us believe that we have always been ruled by outsiders and all the great things in our country has been done by outsiders. And Aryan theory is, I think, one of the trials of that particular mindset. So that is one of the reasons why historians have actually stopped believing in the Aryan race theory. But again, we have to do this for the sake of facts. At least you should know them. Now, the earliest life seems to have been mostly agricultural and pastoral. Okay, so the earlier life was mostly pastoral, so people were mostly nomads. They kept moving from one place to another place, and agriculture being a secondary occupation. Now, guys, this thing in itself is a very refutable comment, because India has always been an agricultural society. How can we transfer from agriculture being a first, agriculture being a primary source of income for us in the Indus Valley? where we have found evidence of a plowed field even in Rajasthan. And then from Indus Valley civilization to Rig Vedic age, what is happening? Agriculture has taken a back seat. Okay. So that is again a very refutable comment. Now, we know about the Aryans from Rig Veda. How do we know about the Aryans? We know about them from Rig Veda. Aryan names are also appear in Kassite inscriptions about 1600 BCE from Iraq, and Mitanni inscriptions from the 14th century in Syria. So please remember this word. Please remember this point. This is very important. We know about the Aryans from Rig Veda, and the Aryan names occur in which inscriptions? The Kassite inscriptions in 1600 BC in Iraq, and Mitanni inscriptions in the 14th century in Syria. They initially settled in the northwest plains of Punjab, and later they moved into the Indo-Gangetic plains. So initially when they had come to our country, they had settled in the northwestern side of Punjab, and later they moved on to the Indo-Gangetic plains, obviously when they wanted to expand agriculture. And it is believed that they mostly led nomadic lives, and it was only in the 6th century BCE when they occupied the whole of North India. How that happened, we will take a look at, which was referred to as Aryavrat at that times. I am sure you have heard of this word quite a few times if you have seen Ramayana or Mahabharata. So if you have heard of Ramayana, or if you have seen Ramanand Sagar's Ramayana, there is a song where Love Kush are singing Ramayana in front of Ramji, and they also they tell you the location of Ayodhya. So they tell you about Jambo Dweepe, Arya Varte, Bharat Khande. There's a place called Ayodhya, Bhumi hai Ayodhya naam ki. So it is actually telling you about the location. So Aryavrat has always been used. This word has been used quite a lot in Ramayana and Mahabharata. Okay, so let me know if you have any doubts here. And also, if you all remember in Mahabharata, Draupadi always refers to her husband as Arya. So Arya means noble. So she always referred to her husband as someone who's noble. I don't think she meant to call them as Aryavrat or sons of Arya. She just called them Arya. Okay. Let me know if you have any doubts here. चलिए, आगे बढ़ते हैं. By 6th century BCE, they had occupied the whole of North India, which was referred to as Aryavrat. And basically, guys, in 6th century BCE, you will also see the rise of something very important. You will see the rise of Mahajanapadas. Okay. Mahajanapadas are basically, you will see the rise of empires and kingdoms. Fine. So maybe the rise of empires and kingdoms have been considered as the rise of Aryans, but we don't really know if it was Aryans or it was people from India itself. Now, the Rig Vedic period, as I had shown you earlier, is divided into two parts, early and later. So early Rig Vedic period is from 1500 BCE to 1000 BCE, and the later Vedic period is from 1000 BCE to 600 BCE. So we will be talking about both the periods in a good detail. Alright, so before now we are going to move ahead to see what are our sources here. Okay, we will be talking a lot about the sources. We will be talking about the Aranyaks, we will be talking about the Rigved, Upanishads, we will be talking about the epics. All of these stand as our sources to understand the Vedic civilization. Okay, chaliye. let's first trace the original home of the Aryans, as in, let's first understand where the Aryans are actually coming from. Where were they coming from? What was their original home like? Now, the original home of the Aryans is a debatable question. So, as I told you, we don't really know where the Aryans were coming from. And according to scholars, there are different viewpoints that they have, and according to them, they believe they belong to different places. So some historians say that their original home was Central Asia. Guys, it is very important for you to remember these viewpoints because again, they can come as MCQs. So some historians say that they belong to Central Asia. According to Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Aryans originally inhabited Siberia, but due to the falling of temperature, they had to leave Siberia for greener pastures. Now, it has been seen that it has been mentioned earlier that your sorry your Aryans were considered as nomadic, right? Nomads. And Central Asia was a place where nomads basically lived, fine. And we all know about the Mongols. The nomads basically lived. But Central Asia is a bitterly cold place, fine. So Bal Gangadhar Tilak believed that they were coming from Siberia, and because of the falling of temperature, because it became really, really cold, these people had to leave for greener pastures. Or another viewpoint is that their original home was southern Russia or southeast Europe, which is Austria or Hungary. So again, you can see here that how these people are trying to prove that the Aryans had come from outside of the country and established what is known as everything that we hold dear, our Sanatan Dharma, our Vedic religion, everything that we hold dear was again established by someone who was coming from outside of India. Now, from there, they migrated to European countries. So, from Austria and Hungary, they migrated to other European countries. Then they came to Persia and then India. However, the theory of southern Russia appears to be most probable, and it is widely accepted by historians because Russia is also known as Eurasia. Why? Because half of Russia is in Asia and half of Russia is in Europe. So that is why it seems very probable that maybe they were actually in southern Russia, because then it would have been really easy for them to move to both the places. It would have been really easy for them to move to Europe also, and it would have been really easy for them to move towards Asia as well. Okay? So they entered India in 1500 BCE and they came to be known as Indo-Aryans. And the Indo-Aryans spoke the language Sanskrit. कौन सी भाषा बोल रहे थे ये बोल रहे थे संस्कृत भाषा. All right. So this is all about the origins of the Aryans. Please let me know if you have any doubts here. Okay. Moving ahead. Now, so do you think it would have been really easy for them that when they came to India, oh, and yes, they started ruling? No, I'm sure they would have faced some kind of conflict, right? So let us see what kind of conflict were they facing. The first group of Aryans fought against the Dravidians and other inhabitants whom they defeated and are supposed to have been pushed down south of India. So now the original population of India was actually Dravidians who now live in the south of India. So it is believed that when Aryans first came to North India, they had to fight their first group of inhabitants, and that was the Dravidians. And the Dravidians, once they were defeated, they had to settle down in the south of India. Their enemies were described by Aryans as Panis and Dasas. Okay? So the enemies that has been described by Aryans are known as Panis and Dasas. Who are they? Let's understand. Panis were cattle thieves, so people who stole other people's cattle. And Dasas were to be held inferior because of their dark skin and flat facial features. The word Dasa later came to denote slave. So I'm sure you can see a bit of like a hint of racism here, which is very, इसमें से बदबू आती है ब्रिटिश कॉन्स्पिरेसी की मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा. So, it reeks of British conspiracy a lot because, again, they were the ones who started discriminating on the basis of color. So, the Aryans described their enemies as Panis and Dasas. Panis were cattle thieves. And who were the Dasas? Dasas were basically those people who were inferior because of their dark skin. Okay. Why were they inferior? Because of their dark skin and flashed facial features. And the word dasa later came to denote a slave. So, who were now called as dasas? The dasas were basically the Dravidians who had been pushed down, who were actually the original inhabitants of India, and they were dark skinned, fine. But now they only belong to the southern region. Now, the term Dashyata, which is the slaughter of Dasyus, is repeatedly mentioned in Rig Veda. However, the Aryans also fought amongst themselves, and thus many intra-tribal conflicts were common among the Aryan communities. So, the term Dashyata is mentioned in Rig Veda quite a few times, which means the slaughter of Dasyus or the slaughter of Dasas. So basically, Aryans were the ones who had conflict with the Dasas. They slaughtered them, they killed them, and they forced them to live in the south of India. But apart from having conflict with other tribal groups, there was a lot of conflict within the Aryan tribal group itself. So there was a lot of intra conflict between their communities as well. Now, the country of Bharatvarsh is named after the Bharat tribe, which is again mentioned in the Rig Veda. Please remember this point. The famous Battle of 10 Kings, or the Dasarjan Yuddha, was fought between the tribes Bharatas, led by the king Sudas, and the confederacy of other 10 tribes, which is Puru, Yadu, Turvasa, Anu, Duryu, Alina, Pakta, Balhans, Shiva, and Vishanil. So you should remember all of these names, which are very important. So there was this famous battle of the there was this famous battle of the 10 kings. Okay, and now this was also known as the Dasrajan Yuddha, now which was fought between the tribes, the Bharat tribes of Bharatvarsh, and these tribes were led by King Sudas, and these were the 10 tribes which fought amongst themselves. The former 5 are said to have been Aryan tribes, while the later 5, so Puru, Yadu, Turvasa, Anu, Duryu, Alina, these are said to have been Aryan tribes, and the later 5, which is Pakta, Bahlanas, Shiva, and Vishanil, they are supposed to have been the non-Aryan tribes. So the Bharatas emerged victorious in the battle, which was fought on the rivers of Parushini, which is present-day river Ravi. So the Bharatas, they were the ones who emerged victorious. So obviously the Aryans were the ones who emerged victorious, and it was fought on the river Ravi, which is present-day river Ravi. Okay. So let me know if you have any doubts here. Okay, chaliye, let's move ahead. Now, let's talk about the Vedic literature. What all literature is present with us? What all do we have to understand the society, to understand the culture, to basically understand about the Rigvedic civilization? So, the word Veda is derived from the root word Ved, which means to know. So, Vedas are basically a source of all knowledge because that's where you will get to know about everything. In other terms, the Vedas signifies wisdom, knowledge, or vision. There are four Vedas. Rigved was composed in early Vedic period, while the three Vedas were written in the later Vedic period. Okay, so let us try to know what are these four Vedas and what were they about. The Rig Veda. It is the earliest of the four Vedas. Alright, guys. Now, when was this written? This was written in the early Vedic period. So, it consists of 10 mandalas or books and has around 1028 hymns. These hymns are sung in praise of Agni, Indra, Mitra, Varun, and other gods. It also contains the famous Purushukta hymns that explains the four Varnas, which is Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, how they were born respectively. So, Brahmins were born from the mouth, the Kshatriya were born from the arms, the Vaishyas were born from the thighs, and the Shudras were born from the feet of Brahma. And the universally famous Gayatri mantra is also in the Rig Veda. So, Om Bhur Bhavasvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Now, this is the world famous Gayatri mantra, which is also something you will find in the Rig Veda. So, in the Rig Veda, you can see the gods that we were worshipping were different. So, we have three, so our trinity was different. So it was Agni, Indra, Mitra, Varun, and Som and other gods. Okay? Now, so Rig Veda was the only Ved which was written in the early Vedic period. The rest of the three Veds, which is Sam Ved, Yajur Ved, Athar Ved, they were written in the later Vedic period. So let us see what Sam Ved is. It is a collection of melodies. It contains stanzas taken from the Rig Veda and set to tune for the purpose of singing. Sam Ved is important in tracing the history of Indian music. So, what is Sam Ved important for? Sam Ved is important for tracing the history of Indian music. Remember this, guys, this is very important. Also, it has a collection of melodies, and some of the hymns of Rig Veda has been put into melodies. So I'm sure you know it's easier for us to remember. So Sam Veda is very important for us if we want to trace the history of Indian music. Okay, let me know if you have any doubts here. Otherwise, we'll continue. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. Let's just finish all the Vedas and then you can tell me your doubt. The Yajurveda. It consists of not only hymns, but it actually contains the rituals and rituals that have to accompany their recitation. So hymns are not just to be recited like that. Fine. There always has to be some kind of ritual, some kind of yagya or some kind of puja attached with it. Right? So that's what Yajurveda tells us. Yajurveda tells us about the rituals, the yagyas or the pujas that has to be done. Fine. So various details of rules to be observed at the time of sacrifice are mentioned in this Ved. So what are the rules to be observed while you are doing any kind of sacrifice, or if you're doing any kind of puja, or if you're doing any kind of yagya? What are the rules and regulations that one must follow? That's what they talk about. The rituals reflect the social and political milieu in which they arose. There are two main texts of Yajurveda, which is Shukla Yajurveda and Vajaseniya Yajurveda and Krishna Yajurveda. We also have Taittiriya, Kathak, Matrayani and Kapisthal. So you have to remember all of these names guys. ठीक है, आपको ये सारे नाम जो हैं वो याद होने चाहिए कि यजुर्वेद जो है वो और भी different parts में divided है. टू मेन उसमें ये हैं. एक है शुक्ल यजुर्वेद, ऑलराइट, और दूसरा कौन सा है, कृष्ण यजुर्वेद. सो दो पार्ट्स में डिवाइडेड है. शुक्ल यजुर्वेद इज ऑल्सो नोन एज वज्रसेनीय यजुर्वेद, ठीक है, एंड कृष्ण यजुर्वेद इज ऑल्सो नोन एज तैत्तरीय, कथक, मैत्रायणी एंड कपिस्थल यजुर्वेद. So remember these names, these are important. Lastly, we have the Atharva Ved. It consists details about the rituals. So basically, what kind of charms, what kind of spells, little bit, about, I would not say black magic, but little bit about magic as well, to ward off diseases or to ward off evil. जैसे कहते हैं ना झाड़ फूक करना या हम मंत्र पढ़ते हैं कि सब कुछ ठीक हो जाए. Okay. So, this content of Veda also throws light on the beliefs and practices of the non-Aryans. So, basically, people who were actually Indians, or basically people who were the original inhabitants of Indians, it also tells us about their practices. So, what were they believing in? What were they not believing in? All of that can be here seen in the Atharva Ved. So, let me know if you have any doubts, guys. Okay. So I'm hoping that everything is fine till here. So let's move ahead. हम आगे बढ़ते हैं and let us see what kind of other sources we have apart from the Vedas. So besides the Vedas, there are other words like the Brahmanas. We have, so apart from that, we have one Brahmanas. This is another source. Then we have Upanishads. This is a second source. We have Aranyaks. This is a third source. And then we have epics like Ramayana and Mahabharata, which is our fourth and fifth source. Now, the Brahmins explain the hymn of the Vedas. Now, it's not very easy to understand the Vedas because it's written purely in Sanskrit. So, Brahmins are basically like commentaries on the Vedas. They explain the hymns of the Vedas in simpler terms. So, they act as appendices to the Vedas. They are written in prose and they elaborately describe the various sacrifices and rituals along with their mystical meanings. So basically, what are the Brahmins doing? Brahmins are responsible for explaining the Vedas, and since Vedas are written in the form of, little bit in the form of poetry, because these are shlokas, so the Brahmins are written in prose. Prose in the sense they are written down as stories. They explain why certain sacrifices have to be performed. Fine. And they also explain the mystical meaning of the sacrifices, the rituals, everything. Each Ved has several Brahmins, guys. Every Ved has several Brahmins. So you might not remember the names of all of it, but do remember that each Ved has several Brahmins. The two Brahmins attached with Rig Ved. So the two Brahmins attached with Rig Ved, which is the most important, is Aitarya Brahman and Kaushatiki Brahman. Okay? So सबसे important, two most important Brahmins, which will tell you a lot about the Rig Ved, which are commentaries on Rig Ved, is actually the Aitarya Brahman and the Kaushataki Brahman. Now, then we have the Aranyaks. Now, Aranyak ka literal meaning होता है बच्चे forest. Okay? Now, so Aranyak are called forest books because they deal with mysticism, rites, rituals, sacrifices, and they deal with mysticism and symbolism as well. So Aranyaks are something which deal with something which is beyond the Rig Veda. So they deal with mysticism, the rites, the rituals, the sacrifices. So they deal with the nitty-gritties of whatever has been stated in the Vedas. Fine. And the Aranyaks transition into Upanishads. अब Upanishads क्या है? What Upanishads are? That also we will take a look at. Now, they offer a bridge between the Karma marg, which is the sole concern of Brahmins, and the Jana marg or the Gyan marg, which the Upanishads advocated. So basically, they are a bridge, all right, between the Karma marg, which is the main concern of the Brahmin books, fine, and then we have the Gyan marg, which is the main concern of the Upanishad book. So, in between, you have the Aranyak book. So, it is like a transitioning book. From Brahmins, you move to Aranyaks, and from Aranyaks, you move towards Upanishads. Okay? Let me know if there's any doubt, if there's anything you have not understood here. आगे बढ़ते हैं, let's move ahead. Let's talk about the Upanishads. The Upanishads are philosophical texts dealing with topics like soul, the absolute, the origin of the world, and the mysteries of the nature. Now, Upanishads are not actually religious texts per se because they don't really talk about rituals or anything like that. Fine. They are basically a philosophical text. Fine. And what are they dealing with? They're dealing with topics like soul. What is the soul? Absolute, Atman, Brahman. In sab ka concept, I'm sure you've heard of these words. You know what Atman is. You know what Brahman is. They talk about the origin of the world. They talk about how Atma is united with the Brahman. They talk about salvation. They talk about the mysteries of the nature. Okay? It criticizes the rituals and lays stress on the value of right belief and knowledge. So Upanishad has always been against these unnecessary rituals. They never really wanted to focus on. What you can say, the yagyas or the pujas. They always thought that right belief and knowledge is the way to go. The language of the Upanishads was classical Sanskrit and not Vedic Sanskrit. So it is believed that this was meant to be read by everyone. It states that the goal in life is to attain salvation, which is possible through self-control. So the ultimate goal in life is to attain what? Salvation. Or as Buddha would say it, Nirvana or Nibbana. And how can you do it? You can do it when you have self-control over your karmas. You know that you have to control your karmas. You know that you have to make sure that your karmas are good. Okay? We have the author of epics Ramayana and Mahabharata, Valmiki and Vedvyas respectively. So apart from the Upanishads, we also have Ramayana and Mahabharata. They are also belonging to the Vedic period, guys. It is believed that Ramayana belonged to the early Vedic period and Mahabharata belonged somewhere to the later Vedic period. So let us take a look at some of the important Upanishads that we have. First of all, we have the Aitareya Upanishad. It talks about the creation of Atman, consciousness, as I told you. So, Atman and Brahman. We have Chandogya Upanishad. It deals with the rhythm and chanting of mantras. So again, it is dealing with what? It is again dealing with the tune, the song, and how the mantras are to be chanted, where you have to pay, where you have to, आपको कहाँ पे ध्यान देना है, where you have to pause, where you have to reiterate, where you have to be loud, where you have to be slow. So they basically talk about voice modulation as well. Then we have Katha Upanishad. So it tells the story of Nachiketa and Yam. So this conversation evolves into the discussion of man, Atman, knowledge, moksha. So through this, through the conversation that is happening between Nachiketa and Yam, you will get to know about whatever all of these things is, whatever Atman, whatever Brahman, whatever knowledge, whatever moksha is. Now, then we have Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Now, it talks about transmigration of Atman, passages on metaphysics and ethics. So, we say that when we die, our soul passes, हमारी आत्मा जो है वो मुक्त हो जाती है, मोक्ष प्राप्त होता है, we move to the other world. So that's what they're talking about. They're talking about the transmigration of Atman. They're talking about how the soul transitions from being into a body to being a free soul, and how they basically get united with Atma. Atma gets united with Brahma, fine? Atma will get united with Brahma, and how basically it will tell you about the passages of metaphysics. Now, metaphysics here basically means that how our Atma will get united with the universe, or it will get united with the Brahman. Now, then we have Mundaka Upanishad. It contains the mantra Satyamev Jayate, which is borrowed in the national anthem. A very important question, guys. This can definitely be a very important question for you. Ki where has the mantra of Satyamev Jayate been taken? And you can say that it has been taken from the Mundaka Upanishad, which is again a part of our national emblem. सत्यमेव जयते. सो ये कहाँ से लिया गया है? ये मुंडिका उपनिषद से लिया गया है, गाइस. ठीक है? So that's it for today. That's all about the introduction to Vedic civilization. अब अगली class, in the next class, we will be talking about the various aspects of early Vedic civilization, and then we will talk about the changes which happened in the later Vedic civilization. So I have given you a brief overview of the Vedic civilization. I have discussed Aryans, I have discussed where they were originally coming from. I have discussed how they established themselves in India. I have discussed the various sources that we have to study about, these people. And then I am going to now discuss in the next class, I will be discussing about other things. That is, I'll be discussing about various ways. I'll be discussing about the society, the polity, the administration, the situation of women, how the yagyas were performed, the caste system, the Varna system, how it changed in the later Vedic period. Was Rigveda an actual golden age, or it has just been prescribed so? Why is it called a golden age? What changes happened in the later Vedic period? So all of these things we will be discussing in a lot of details, guys. So I really hope that you all have a clear understanding till here. And if you have any doubts, you can let me know. So I'm just giving you 2 minutes to go through whatever we have done, and let me know if there's anything you don't understand. Okay. So guys, if you have any doubts after you watch the video, so for those who are not watching live, those who are going to watch the recorded session, it's a request that if you have any doubts, you can always put it in the comments section. You can always put it in the comments tab, and then I will definitely take it up. I'll take up your doubts and I'll clear everything for you. So need not worry about that. And before I leave, I would again request all of you to join the Telegram group. The link has been given here. We also have a scan code, so you can scan it and you can join the Telegram group. Now, why is it necessary for you to join the Telegram group? Because this is where you will get updates regarding the classes. You will get your notes. You can talk to your educators. You can clear your doubts. You can do a lot of things here. So do join the Telegram group, guys. It is just for your help. And before you all go, please do subscribe to the channel, Telugu Exams Result Guru. So do subscribe to that. For those who are preparing for the state PSCs, this channel is going to be a one-stop solution for everything, for all the subjects. Do like the video and share it with your friends. Do drop a comment if there's any suggestion that you would want to make, any changes that you would want to make, anything you would want to add, anything you would like from our end. Do add that. And also press the bell button, guys, because that's when you will get notified about us putting up a new video. So do all of that, and also subscribe to the channel, and also subscribe to our parent channel. We are back with a bang. So people did try to pull us down. They tried to hack our channel, but no. We are back with a bang. We are back with a new channel. So I would request everyone to subscribe to that channel and, take Result Guru to the heights that it was and much more. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me here. It was an absolute pleasure to have you all, to conduct a class with you. And I would definitely see you all in the next class. Thank you so much. Good night. Bye, guys. Take care. Thank you.